All right, letter B. Now we need to find out what the greatest common factor is of the polynomial 18x cubed y squared plus 12x squared y plus 15x. So I'm going to start with the first term, which is 18x cubed y squared. And I'm going to use my prime numbers that I know to make the number 18. I know to start with 2. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 is not prime, but I know that 3 times 3 gives me 9. So if I'm going to double check that, 2 times 3 times 3 and my calculator, yep, that gives me 18. Then x cubed gives me 3 x's, so 1, 2, 3. And then y squared gives me 2 y's, 1, 2. Now let's move on to the 12x squared y. I know that 12 divided by 2 is 6, so I get 2, and then 6 is broken up into 2 times 3, so there's a 2 and a 3. And if I put that in my calculator, 2 times 2 times 3 does give me 12, then times 2 x's and 1 y. And then my last term here is 15x. Now 15x is not divisible by 2, so I can't start with a 2 there, but I can start with a 3. And I know that 3 times 5 gives me 15, and 5 is prime, so I can just keep it as 3 times 5 and then keep the x. Now I'm going to go back and circle what they have in common. And sometimes it's going to get a little messy, and that's okay. So I see that they all have a 3 in common. That's all that they have in common. So I'm going to keep that 3. And then the next thing I see that they have in common is the x. So my GCF is going to also have an x. And that's it, because that 15x doesn't have a y. They don't even have y's in common. They only have that 3 and the x in common, and that's it. So there is my answer. Now it's your turn to do the try-its.